Hi everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 44. In this lesson, we will introduce the student to the two sounds of G. Let's begin by setting up the table. You'll need your top 160 sight word list, the sight word study method instruction sheet, and the student's card pack of sight words. You'll need some blank cards, a highlighter markers, and some pencils. For the short vowel drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet, the 5 keyword pictures, and the keyword sentence. For the phonemic awareness drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet and the colored tiles for the student. For the visual drill and auditory drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the card pack for the student. Remember that you will have introduced the new sounds of C that we covered in the last lesson. They will now be in the card pack. And if you're wondering what those are, just have a look at the lesson plan. And then we've got the syllable card drill. We're doing 2 syllable words today. You'll have them all cut out and ready to go on the table. Moving on to the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling and reading, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the cookie sheet with the magnetic letter tiles spread in a rainbow shape. Then we'll have the syllable pounding instruction sheet, the new phoneme grapheme kinesthetic discovery instruction sheet, and the sheets for the lesson. There will be the scooping syllables sheet. The student will have to have their rule sheet on hand as well for the sounds of C and G because we're working on G today. There'll be a chart that's called Sounds of G. You'll have, in addition to that, the regular single word list, the short story, and the 3 sentences for the writing section of the lesson. In addition to all of that, you're going to have the drill. It's a sort, and it's for F, L, S, and Z. You'll have that all cut out and ready to go on the table. And you might have a timer. You will have a timer if you have decided that it's time to introduce fluency into the lessons. When the student has solid phonemic awareness and their decoding's doing really well, then it's time to start working on speed, which is fluency is speed, accuracy, and a natural expression. Orton Gillingham lessons do not cover fluency, so you have to add a secondary program into the lessons to do that. Refer to lesson 33 if you'd like to hear some more about that. Let's begin with the sight word study method. Student, can you take out your sight word card pack? I'd like you to read through each word in the pack. When you get one correct, you'll put a check mark in the corner of the card. When you're finished, you will give your card pack to your teacher. And then it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher reads each word, and then you write the word down. When you get the word correct, you will put a check mark in the other corner of your card. Teacher, you're ready with blocking strategies in case the student encounters difficulties. When you're finished, have a quick discussion about which of those words you believe have been mastered. If they're mastered, you can take them right out of the card pack. If there's time permitting, you can introduce a new sight word. The short vowel drill is a drill that will be discontinued once the student has mastered the short vowel sounds. Student, can you take out your keyword pictures and your keyword sentences for apple, Eddie, itchy, all living up? Now take 2 fingers and trace the apple and say apple, ah. Do that as many times as your teacher deems necessary, and then move on to the next keyword. Once you're finished all the keywords and their sounds, you can take out the keyword sentence and you'll say the sentence stretching out the vowel sounds as you do it. Let's do the phonemic awareness drill. Student, you're going to need your colored tiles for this one. Your word is clot. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I got a cut and the blood started by flowing freely, but then it began to clot. Clot. Okay, take out colored tiles and build the word clot. Then tap it and say it. Do you have 4 tiles down, all different colors? If you do, that's right. So you've got k, l, a, and t. What I'd like you to do is find the o in clot. Can you touch that one? Now take it away. Take away the o, and what are you left with? Tap it and say it. Did you get caught? I was sleeping on the cot. If you did, that's right. Okay, find the ah in cot. and change the ah into an What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get cut? If you did, that's right. Okay, find the in cut and change the into an ah. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get cat? If you did, that's right. Okay, let's add a new tile, new color. We'll call it Put the right after the k in cat. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. This will be a nonsense word. Did you get crat? That's right. Okay, let's change the ah into an I. Now tap it, say it. Did you get crit? Not a word on its own, but part of critter. Okay, if that's crit, find the k in crit and take it away. Now tap it and say it. Did you get writ? If you did, that's right. Let's change it into a real word. Find the I in writ and change it into an Now tap it, say it. Did you get rut? If you did, that's right. Okay, great work. You can put your tiles away now. All right, let's do the visual drill. Student, you're going to need your grapheme card pack for this one. Your teacher has added some new cards to your pack because we were working on the sounds of C in our last lesson. Remember that when C is followed by an E, I, or Y, it's going to make it soft sound. S. When E is followed by any other vowel, A, O, U, it'll make its hard sound. K. So let's try this one. What sound does this one make? Did you say ka? That's correct. We haven't learned about open syllables, but if the student did say ko, that would be correct as well. Okay, teacher, you can flash about 6 to 8 cards and then come back to me. Now it's time for the auditory drill. We'll use the same card pack for this one. Student, your sound is S. Can you repeat that sound? Okay, now what symbols go with the sound S? I want you to write as many as you know. As you're writing them, say the sound again. And when you finish, underline it and say the sound a third time. And then we'll check your work. Did you get CI? You could also say SI. Okay, teacher, you can do this drill by using about 6 to 8 cards and then come back to me. It's time for the syllable card drill. You will read down all the syllables in column number 1, and then you'll read down all the syllables in column number 2. Then you'll read across the rows, making nonsense words as you go. In the last step, you can take the column 2 syllables and you can unscramble them to create real words. Remember to talk about the meanings of the different words and to put some of them into sentences. Let's do some syllable pounding. You'll stretch out your arm, and every time I'll say the word, and when you hear the syllable, you can pound it out. So I'm just hitting my arm and my finger shoots out for every syllable that I hear. And what is a syllable? Let's review that definition. A syllable is a word or part of a word with one vowel pattern. Let's do that again. 1, 2, ready, here we go. A syllable is a word or part of a word with one vowel pattern. So we are listening for those syllables, we're listening for the vowel sounds as we are figuring out the syllables. Another way to do it is to put your hand under your chin. Every time a syllable happens, your jaw drops and it'll hit your hand. So let's say lesson. That one has 2 because my jaw hit my hand twice. Here's your first one. Sen. How many syllables in that one? Did you say 1? That's correct. I heard the eh. How about this one? Census. That one has 2. I hear the eh and the Census. And you might have a quick discussion with your teacher about what is a census. You know, it's that special survey that they do to figure out statistics for Canada, like how many kids does the average Canadian family have? We know that from the census. Okay, here's another one. Combat. How many syllables in combat? Did you say 2? If you did, that's right. Here's another one. Accepting. He is very accepting of others. Accepting. I hear 3 in that one. And here's your last one. Catfish. How many? Did you say 2? If you did, that's right. Good job. We've been talking about the Jeff Will Pass Buzz rule, the doubling rule for one-syllable closed syllable words that end in certain letters, F, L, S, or Z. Knowing what you know about the Jeff Will Pass Buzz rule, and you can take out your Jeff Will Pass Buzz picture or your rule card, whatever you need, I'm wondering if you can tell me, is this word spelled correctly? If not, what do I have to do? Okay, have a quick discussion with your teacher about that. And then what I'd like you to do is work on the sort that is on the table. The teacher's keeping an eye on the time, and so we'll know how many words you should sort. And you'll have 2 piles. One will go into the pile that is spelled incorrectly and needs to get doubled. And then the other you'll put them under the other heading if they are spelled correctly. There's also S, L, F, and Z little cards that you can add to the word when it's spelled incorrectly, so you can create a correct spelling of the word. One thing that I want you to think about is how the spelling rule is about 1-syllable words. So it doesn't apply when the word is 2 syllables. Don't get tricked on the drill when you see a 2-syllable word. Let's practice dividing syllables in some words that are written. So you'll need your Scooping Syllables worksheet for this one. And you'll also need your sheet that tells you the rules of syllabication, the one that tells you you're going to dot under all the vowels. Then you're going to scoop the syllables, and you'll put what type of syllable it is. You can put a C for closed underneath, and then you'll put the little smiley face. If it is a short vowel sound, you'll put that above the vowels. You might not have time to do all 3 words, so you and your teacher can decide which 1 or 2 will get completed. And remember that we're working on the sounds of C. So remember, when C is followed by an E, I, or Y, it will be softened. We've been working on the sounds of C. Can you tell me the 2 sounds that C can make? Did you say K like a K or S like the letter S? If you did, that's right. G also has 2 sounds. It has a hard sound and a soft sound, just like C has a hard sound and a soft sound. Can you take out that rule card for C? And I'll show you that C works the same way as G. So when a G is followed by certain letters, it's going to be hard. And when G is followed by certain letters, it will be soft. So let's start off with what is the hard and soft sound of G. Well, I think you probably know the hard sound already. So if I had a word like this, can you tap that one and say it? I would say G, A, T, got. So the hard sound of G is G. Can you repeat that sound? Just like C, if a G is followed by an A, O, or U, it's going to be hard. But G also has a soft sound. And that is the same sound as this letter, the one that this letter makes. So that sound is J. Can you repeat that sound? J. Just like C, when it's followed by an E, I, or Y, it'll say its soft sound. So G will say J if it's followed by any of those letters. Okay. Some of the sheets for the lesson, like if you look through those, you'll find one that has a chart, and it's called Sounds of G. And it just very simply tells you that if G is followed by an A, O, or U, it'll be hard, G. And if it's followed by an E, I, or Y, it'll be soft, J. So for the word, let's go for this one. We know that G is followed by an O, so it must say G. Can you write this one in the left column of your chart? G-O-T spells got. Okay, G-O-T. And while you're doing that one, I'm going to set up the next word. Okay, how would we read this one? Tap it and say it. Is it a G or a J? Tell your teacher how you know. Well, the G is followed by an A, so it has to say its hard sound. So this word would be gap. Mind the gap. Okay, so write this one right underneath the word got, and that'll be in the left-hand column because it's a hard sound of G. By the next one, tap this one and say this one. Did you get J-M, gem? If you did, that's right. This one goes in the right part of the right side of your chart because the G is sounding like J. It's soft sound. The G is followed by E, so it's soft. Okay, write that down. And teacher, now that you see how this works, you can continue with the other words that are listed on your lesson plan and then come back to me. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. We're working on those sounds of G. Okay, student, your first sound is J. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is I. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your last sound is N. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you get gin? If you did, that's correct. Gin is a type of alcohol. Okay, put your tiles away and get ready for your new word. Your sound is G. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. O. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. A. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. S. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now apply any spelling rules that need to get applied and tap it and say it. Did you get glass? And did you spell it G-L-A-S-S? If you did, that's right. We have to double the S because that's a one-syllable closed syllable that ends in S. So that's our Jeff will pass buzz rule in action there. Okay, great work. Teacher, if there's time, you could do another word. And if not, then move on to the single word list and then have the student read the short story. After that, if you have added a fluency piece to the lesson, that's where you'll put it. And if not, then you'll just come back to me and we'll start working on writing. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling. Student, take out your tile board with your magnetic letter tile spread in a rainbow shape. Your word is magnet. Can you repeat that word? I could say, I have a magnet on the fridge. Okay, let's break that one up into syllables because we want to spell it syllable by syllable. So, magnet. So let's spell the first syllable first. Mag. What's the first sound that you hear in mag? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in mag? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in mag? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now let's work on the second syllable, net. What's the first sound that you hear in net? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in net? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in net? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now let's tap it and say it. Did you spell magnet M-A-G-N-E-T? If you did, that's right. Good work. Put those tiles away and let's get ready for your next word. Your word is cell. Can you repeat that word? I might say there are many cells in my body, or I could say the prisoner was in a cell. Okay, what's the first sound that you hear in cell? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the next sound that you hear in cell? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the last sound that you hear in cell? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now apply any spelling rules that need to get applied. And tap it and say it. Did you spell this one C-E-L-L? If you did, that's right. Now some of you might have spelled it S-E-L-L. If you did, that is the word cell, but that one has a different meaning. Sometimes we have two words that sound the same, but they have different meanings, and we show the different meanings by having different spellings for them. So if I spelled it S-E-L-L, that means I'm selling something, like I will sell my house. Whereas C-E-L-L is for the cells in your body or for the prisoner cell. Okay, teacher, if there's time, you could do another word this way. And if not, then let's move on to writing some single words. Student, you'll need some lined paper and a pencil. We're going to tap it first. You're allowed to tap it out. And so if the word was net, you'd say net, and grab the whole word and say net, and then write it down. Or you could choose to trace the actual letter and say the sound net, and then write it down. Your choice. So your word is gem. Can you repeat that word? I might say an amethyst is a gem, or an emerald is a gem. Okay, now tap it or trace it and grab the whole word, say the whole word, and then write it down. Teacher, check the work. Have a discussion about the sounds of G. Okay, you ready for your next one? Your next word is gum. Can you repeat that word? Okay, I am chewing gum, I might say. All right, tap it or trace it and then write it down. Teacher checks the work and you guys have a quick discussion about the sounds of G. Okay, your next word is gent. Can you repeat that word? A gent is another word for a man, part of the word gentleman. Gent. Tap it or trace it and then write it down. And teacher checks the work. Okay, if there's time permitting, you could do a few more words, teacher. And if not, then move on to the sentences. You'll read all 3 sentences, and the student will choose the 2 that will be written. After writing a sentence, the student will check the work with chops. Let's do a quick review before you go. We've been talking about the Jeff Will Pass Buzz rule. I'm wondering if you could tell me, is this word spelled correctly? Have a quick discussion with your teacher about that one. Tap it and say it. That word is bell, but it is spelled incorrectly. I would have to add a second L to spell that one correctly. In a one-syllable closed syllable word that ends in F, L, S, or Z, we double the ending letter there, the L. And we've also been talking about the sounds of C and the sounds of G. When a C or a G is followed by certain vowels, it will be softened. How would you read this word? Tap it and say it. Did you say sell? If you did, that's right, because the C is softened when it's followed by an E, an I, or a Y. So what is this word? Tap it and say it. That word is gull. It's the hard sound of G because the G is not followed by an E, I, or Y. It's followed by a U in this case. Okay, great job today. That's the end of lesson 44. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.